Welcome to this lecture on Introduction to Heat Exchanger Networks. In this lecture, we will discuss what are the heat exchanger networks in chemical process design, what are the energy targets, composite curves for the calculation of heat recovery possible within the system itself in this part of heat exchanger networks. So, if we consider energy target, first of all, we have to think the chemical process design. This design philosophy is started at the heart of onion, that is with the reactor, and moved out to the next layer, that is the separation and recycle system. Acceptance of these two major processing steps, that is reactor design and separation and recycle system design, in the inner two layers of the onion fixes the material and energy balance. Thus, the heating and cooling duties for next layer of the onion, that is the third layer is heat and heat recovery system, are known. However, completing the design of the heat exchanger network is not necessary in order to access the complete design. If we consider energy target, so targets can be set for the heat exchanger network to access the performance of the complete process design without actually having to carry out the network design. These targets allow both energy and capital cost for the heat exchanger network to be assessed. So if we consider capital cost for heat exchanger is nothing but the procurement cost and energy cost is nothing but the operating cost. So this target will help us to set both capex and opex at the optimum level. Moreover, the targets allow the designer to suggest the changes in process for the reactor and separation and recycle system to improve the targets for energy and capital cost of the heat exchanger network. After recovering or integrating as much heat as possible within the process, some heat is still need to be supplied in the form of utilities. That is by using steam, furnace liquid, Latham liquid, etc. That is the heat requirement. When all the excess heat is absorbed in the process itself, the process need to be cooled to room temperature or even below that. And this leads load on the cooling water requirement. So that also can taken as heat load, because circulation of cooling water or operate cooling tower to restore temperature of cooling water. So ultimately the target can predict the utilities required in any process. Now moving to composite curves, the analysis of heat exchanger network first identify the hot stream, that is also called as the source of heat, and the cold streams, that are nothing but the sinks from the material and energy balance. Now if we consider a simple problem with just one hot stream, that is one heat source, and one cold stream, that is heat sink, as mentioned in this table, the initial temperature is also called as supply temperature and final temperature also called as the target temperature, and the enthalpy change of both streams are given in the following table. So if we consider here, the stream 1 is cold type stream, which supply temperature is 40 degrees Celsius and target temperature, that is outlet temperature, is 110 degrees Celsius. The heat or enthalpy change required to bring this change from supply temperature from 40 to 110, we require 14 megawatt of heat. Whereas the second stream is hot type and supplied at 160 degrees Celsius and need to be cooled at 40 degrees Celsius. So here the hot stream is carrying 12 megawatt excess heat with it. So we have to remove this 12 megawatt using this cold utility. So now if we consider steam is available at 160 degrees Celsius and cooling water is available at 40 degrees Celsius, clearly it is possible to heat the cold stream using the steam and cool the hot stream in the above table using cooling water. However, this would incur excessive energy cost. it is also incompatible with the goals of the sustainable industrial activity, which call for the use of minimum energy consumption. Instead, it is preferably to try to recover the heat between the process streams if it is possible. Scope of heat recovery is identified by plotting the both streams on the HT diagram, that is H on x-axis and T on y-axis. The feasible heat exchange requires that hot stream must be hotter than cold stream at all points in this TH diagram or HT diagram. The HT plot for the mentioned problem is as shown in this figure. So if we plot the hot stream, that is starting from 160 degrees Celsius and need to be cooled at 40 degrees Celsius, we are keeping this delta T minimum equal to 10 degrees Celsius. So we know that for heat transfer to feasible, we have to keep the minimum temperature difference between hot stream and cold stream. So we are keeping this delta T as 10 degrees Celsius. So the separating distance between hot and cold stream on the TH diagram would be 10 degrees Celsius. And cold stream is available from 40 degrees Celsius and it is heated up to 110 degrees Celsius as shown in figure. Now if we consider the overlapping section between hot stream and cold stream, that is nothing but the possible heat recovery by coupling this hot and cold stream together in a heat exchanger. So possible heat recovery is 11 megawatt as shown here. So now the portion after this overlapping dictates the need of the further hot utility, that is need heat to be supplied by external utility like steam. So what is the amount of heat that is required by hot utility is nothing but the QH min, and that is the 3 megawatt. And the portion of hot stream beyond this cold stream dictates the requirement of cooling utility, that is cooling water requirement, and that is denoted by QC min, and that is 1 megawatt. So the figure below shows the flow sheet for the same problem of two streams. Here please note that delta T minimum we are considering is 10 degrees Celsius. Now if we change this delta T minimum to 20 degrees Celsius, look what happens. If we increase the delta T minimum from 10 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius, the cold stream is shifted horizontally on the x-axis. So what happens? The overlapping section between the hot stream and cold stream become less. So that is nothing but ultimately it means that the heat recovery possible by coupling hot stream and cold stream in a heat exchanger would be reduced. So if we compare the previous figure with this, the Q recovery, that is heat recovery possible, is 10 megawatt only, and the portion of cold stream beyond this hot stream, this part dictate the requirement of hot utility, and this hot utility is also increased to 4 megawatt. Now if we consider the hot stream beyond this cold stream, it dictates the requirement of cooling utility, that is cooling water. So that is also increased, that is QC min equal to 2 megawatt. This figure below shows the flow diagram for the coupling of these two streams together and considering here delta T minimum equal to 20 degrees Celsius. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.